and with Elvis on the pitch, it gives us that little bit more offensive dimension.
Now, Steve, what was the message too with the pressure on the ball? Because it just seemed like Adelaide United could just stroll around without any pressure being applied.
Yeah, well, I think we want to apply a pressure a little bit higher, you know, Archie, because, you know, it's too easy for Elsie to step out and play diagonal passes. So we want to get higher pressure. But more than that, we want to get more balls in the wide areas. We think we can get at their fullbacks. And then if we can get Elvis just joining in from that number 10 position, let's hope we can get the next one.
Thanks, Steve.
OK, guys.
Free kick here for the Reds. Great to see Elvis Kamsoba out in the park against his brother, Pacific Nyongabiri. Here's Goodwin with the delivery. It's Traore with the final touch, and Matt Acton sweeps it up. Not the first time they've played against each other. The first time we've seen Pacific starting for Adelaide United tonight.
I'm sure they've had a lot of 1v1s in the backyard at home, but look, what Steve Keane was saying, it was right. It wasn't enough pressure, especially up high. And, you know, when you win the ball...
There's a chance for victory through Falami. He has a lot of work to do here. He's looking for some support. Eventually it comes through Jacob Butterfield. Balls for Kamsoba. Just too high for him. The offside flag does go up, though.
And what I was saying about that pressure up high, when you win the ball up so high, you've actually got less travel, less distance towards your own attacking goal. So when you've got almost letting teams stroll into their front third and you win the ball, it's such a big distance to get back. So that little change just can certainly help the strikers and have numbers going forward.
It's called for more pressure, more press, more offensive play. Will we see it from the home side in this second half? Traore. That's a positive pass forward for Kamsoba. Brimmer. Nice ball out to Falami. A strain to beat. Now Butterfield. According to Minds, Jacob Butterfield decided the short pass was on. Back at his feet now, delivers it on the left. Elsie, easy for him to clear it. Finds Butterfield again.
You can see that run from Adama when Ben Falami got out wide 1v1. You could almost sense that Adama wanted him to go inside and allow that space out wide for him to play that ball in behind.
A nice run. Kamsoba seized upon by 3 Adelaide shirts. Halloran can't win it, Dylan Ryan does. Just 3 home wins for Melbourne Victory this season. 2 of them coming at Amy Park. They've conceded 28 goals at home. Most goals at home in club history. They're breaking some records for all the wrong reasons this year. Melbourne Victory. Here's McManaman. It's a nice ball to the far post for Rudy Gested. And a header across the face of goal. Had the right idea. The execution was tough from that angle, though.
Yeah, it was always going to be difficult when you're backtracking, almost falling away from the ball and trying to keep it down. Again, these are the sort of areas that you want the ball to be put in for a big striker like Gested to attack. You can just see that he was leaning back. These are the sort of areas that you want Callum McManaman to be getting the ball. If anything, I'd probably like to see Callum McManaman a little bit higher, maybe play a little bit more on the shoulders.
Here's McManaman, the man you speak of, Archie, looking for Gested. Mork spoke to us at half-time and said, no, he's fine. These are the games you want to play in, and he's soldiering on. Kamsoba fouled, free kick Melbourne.
Beautiful interchange play between Callum and McManaman and Elvis Kamsoba. Beautiful little touch just to get away from his defender. But it was a pass out of the defence, which what Steve Keane was talking about. You pass the ball through that press, just allows your speedsters to get into good areas and face forward.
Brimmer whips it in. Kamsoba can't control it. And Ryan Strain gets it away. Tony Popovic will be watching this one tonight, as he has been doing ever since his appointment. Change here coming now for Adelaide United. So Coletti will come on. Stephen Moore, despite the fact him telling us 10 minutes ago that he wanted to continue, Archie makes his way off. We see the heavy strapping there on that left leg. Sometimes when you go into the sheds at half-time and you cool down, it's hard to get going again, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. It's pretty much the same when I go to bed and I try to get up in the morning. Look, obviously a big loss for Adelaide United, because he does give so much effort and those late runs into the box, and that leadership sometimes what you need, and experience on the pitch. But they've obviously got finals in mind. There's a few games left in the season. If this result stays how it is, they're still fighting for second position. So from a manager's point of view and the players, you've got to think a little bit smarter.
Coletti making his 18th appearance for the Reds this season. He started in 12. Here's Nyongabiri. Dylan Ryan in front of him. Strain. Forced back. Elsie. Heller, the two players at Adelaide United this season to have played in every single game, start every single game. When you look at Melbourne Victory's squad list, Archie, and there's a lot of talk about season's end and will they retain in their squad, there aren't too many left who are contracted for next season. Callum McManaman is one of them. Plays a nice ball forward. Out Traore for Lamy. Inside the area. And that's well cut out by Ryan Kiddo. Halloran wins front position, does really well to hold the ball up, but his pass just let him down. Cavallo couldn't get there. Victory start again.
And again, it started from that ball, breaking the press. Callum McManaman, a beautiful ball to Jacob Butterfield. Just got to played it a little bit further in front of Adama Traore, just to really drive onto. But you can see that when they do that, they start to open up gaps out wide. Ben Palami, great ball across the front of that 6-yard box.
And that's an easy decision for the referee. Just getting back to that discussion on the squad. Acton, Brimmer, Barnett, Jested, McManaman, Rojas, all still contracted for next season is my understanding, and apart from that, it's open slather. And even though they're contracted, doesn't mean that they'll keep them, Archie. Those players I've just mentioned. So Tony Popovic at the moment working through that list. Here's Brimmer. Nice ball in. Jested couldn't get there, and Nyongabiri clears it.
Well, if he was watching that first half, he'd be scratching his head, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and he knows that. And like you said, players that are contracted can probably get paid out too.
Kamsoba with the shot. That's a standard save, and the offside flag does go up. It wouldn't have counted.
And as you're saying, yeah, those players that are still contracted, that's uncertain, because, you know, we've seen it before where players get paid out and asked to leave, because if you stay in that sort of situation, it's always going to be difficult And it's a lonely place as a player if you're not wanted at a club, especially from a manager. It doesn't matter what you do. If you're having an unbelievable training sessions and you're just going to get overlooked. But for a lot of those other players that don't have contracts, these are what's key. They need to show a little bit of something. They need a little bit of spark. If it's not at Melbourne Victory, it could be somewhere else.
Adelaide with the numbers forward here. Cavallo tries lap from the distance. And they didn't like that on the bench and shot from that range. He's had a terrific night though, Josh Cavallo. What an assist it was for the first goal.
Obviously a little bit disappointed on the bench, but I don't mind that. If you find yourself in an area just around the 18-yard box where no one's closing you down, why not have that effort?
Butterfield finds some space. Brimmer. Once again, we see that press from Cavallo, forcing the error.
And look, I like the way that Jake Brimmer plays. He's so creative when he has the ball, especially in that final third, but sometimes maybe my criticism of him, he can be a little bit lackadaisy on the ball, gives cheap possession away when it's not really needed, just needs that bit more focus.
Goodwin. Wonderful ball, switch of play. Touch a little bit heavy. Ryan Strain. Another opportunity. Nyongabiri. Cavallo. And sprays that one, Josh Cavallo. Turnover. Melbourne Victory with a chance. It's a great rivalry between these two, as we spoke about at the start of the evening. 54 games before this one tonight. Melbourne Victory with the overall advantage. 26 wins for Melbourne, 18 for the Reds, and 10 draws. It's been all one-way traffic in the last few encounters this season. 2 wins out of 2 for the Reds. And they're on track for a third here.
Josh Cavallo just a little bit late with the foot in. Jake Brimmer gets himself a yellow card. And for Adelaide United, it's just about discipline. I know that Stephen Moore talked about that game in Perth, and that understanding in that final third, just a bit missing for Melbourne Victory. But what I was talking about, that discipline for Adelaide United against Perth, Stephen Moore talked about it at half-time. It was not taking their opportunity when they presented themselves. I talked about Ben Halloran's really good chance on the 60th minute. That could have really sealed that game. And they don't want to let Melbourne Victory creep back into this match because they've lost a little bit of concentration, and that's something that Carl Vitt will be stressing over to his players on the bench.
Meneman can't get around Ryan Kiddo. Kiddo makes a terrific one forward. That's good chasing back by Storm Roo. Forces the ball out for another Adelaide corner.
Great acceleration from Kiddo.
Victory corner, I should say.
Saw the space and just knocked it.
Sorry, I got it right the first time. It is down the other end, Craig Goodwin. There've been that many corners for the Reds. That's number 8 now.
Yeah, it's easy to get confused, but look, Kiddo with that bursting run into the space. Storm Roo did well to defend that one, but there was no one really making a run from Adelaide in that 18-yard box. Adama Traore just seems to be down, clutching his groin. I know that he had issues early on in the season with the same leg. Hopefully nothing too serious.
He's missed a bit of football this year, Adama Traore, through injury and suspension. Had a terrific first half.
You can see there he's stretching the groin. A lot of discomfort. He's pulled up a little gingery there, as you can see.
Scala, the physio there at Melbourne Victory. He's had his work cut out for him this year. Here's Goodwin. With Traore off. Goodwin delivers it in. Elsie with a fresh air shot. And the shot well over the crossbar for one day. So Traore trying to make his way back on. Adelaide United will now go to their bench with a double change. Players dropping like flies at the moment. Juande, the latest to receive some treatment.
I wonder if he put up a little bit lame after that shot. I know he just snatched at it a little bit. And we've seen that with Andrew Naboot for Melbourne City. He tried to do a switch, just swung at it and tore his groin.
So Luis Dorigo will be one of the players to come on. Just 19 years of age, Dorigo, former ALeague Player of the Year for Adelaide United. Wearing the number 6. Started 21 games this season, Dorigo. One goal to his name, Pacific Nyongabiri, who was a late inclusion tonight. Making way for the number 19, Yaya Dukuli, making his 9th appearance in a red shirt this season.
That'd be a really big loss if there was a serious injury to Juande. We know his quality. Adelaide has been a better team since he's been in that starting 11. Just adds that bit of security and quality in the midfield, the middle park for Adelaide.
But that for a piercing header from Jacobson. Cavallo can't find the pass. Cam Sober for victory. Back to Acton. Skies it. Justed is there. Oh, he misses that completely. Goodwin. Here's Steve Keane yelling at his players to switch on. Coletti. The Cooley plays it back to Coletti and Cavallo. Makes it hard, Cavallo. For Kiddo, just kept it in, but there will be a turnover here. Justed just waited for it. Cavallo plays it on. Halloran. Coletti skips past the challenge of Bremer. Cam Sober comes in to help. It's all a bit scrappy in the midfield. Now Elsie. Dorigo. Adelaide with numbers forward. Short pass by Strain. Back to him now. The Cooley makes a good run. Can he keep it in? Oh, just hesitated there. The ball was good. Just stopped and propped for a moment, Archie, but cost them in the end.
You don't know what he was doing there because it was a beautiful ball in behind. Almost 40 was offside, but you can't. You still got to try to attack that ball because I actually thought that run he made was beautiful. It wasn't followed by Ben Falami. You just can't switch off in those sort of situations.
Justed v. Jacobson. Justed does well to retain possession. McManaman. Dangerous position here for Rudy Justed. Over the crossbar.
He knows that's a big miss. How many times this year have we seen that ball just dinked up into an area for Justed to attack? He's really just lashed at it, trying to generate power. He had the run of the ball. I could just probably have maybe guided that a little bit better. You can see he's frustrated.
Just 15 points after 23 games. The Melbourne Victory, the fewest in club history. McManaman. Let's not forget they're still in a battle to avoid the wooden spoon. They have never finished bottom of the A-League in their rich history as a club. They're only 1 point away from the Newcastle Jets. Here's McManaman. Plays it in for Jakobsen to clear it. Space here for Ben Halloran. De Cooley making the run. It's all blue shirts, though, that is ahead of Halloran. He does a terrific job to find some space and get the shot away, but it was going to take something very special from there.
Yeah, the way that he was attacking that 80-yard box, he was just drifting away from goal. It's always difficult to generate that much power, but what about the acceleration into the space? He's played and started every single game this year. Ben Halloran, I think it's probably one of his best years I've seen him play in the A-League. He's popping up. I'd probably like to just see a little bit more end product with goals, but he's so exciting when there's acres of space in front of him for him to attack.
And that sums up their night. Melbourne Victory, another giveaway in the midfield.
And it's just that sloppiness, that focus that just seems to be letting Melbourne Victory down, especially in key areas.
Goal scorer Goodwin. Kiddo. Now Elsie leads the clearances for the Reds this season. Nice movement, first time touch, just broke down. But Cooley was looking for Dorigo. Can Victory find something here in some spaces? Callum McManaman. There's the run from Traore, and Jested as well is there. It's all a bit predictable though for Melbourne Victory. Adelaide United doing a really good job on marking the big striker.
Yeah. Again, it was a great ball in from Callum McManaman. Generated a lot of pace. Well
Elsie and Jakobsen know that ball's coming, and they're both really tight on him, Archie.
Yeah, I felt like he could have probably done better in that situation because it was this kind of area that you want to be heading the ball. Just didn't get any direction on the ball or on goal.
Kiddo for Dorigo. It opens up for the substitute. Takes a deflection, another corner kick for Adelaide United. There's Dorigo scoring his first A-League goal earlier this campaign. He'd love to make it a second. As we approach 70-minute mark here at Amy Park. Vital 3 points up for grabs. As the Reds look to move into third position, Goodwin whips it in. Jested with the clearance. Don't forget, coming up right after this one, it's the Perth Glory at home to MacArthur. Both sides also involved in that finals race.
Yeah, crucial game for both teams.
Perth 4 on the trot. They are in red-hot form at the moment. What about their front four, Archie? Andy Keogh, Diego Castro, Chris Economides, Bruno Fornaroli.
You've got to throw Chianese into the mix too because he's had a real impact coming off the bench, but for me that's someone that we haven't seen a lot of football from. Obviously with the knee injury, Economides. Before that injury was one of the bright sparks for Perth Glory. We've got to give himself a call up to the Socceroos. And, you know what, he's starting to find that form again that we're used to seeing, and that's why I feel like they're having the effect that they are when they needed to.
Yeah, that's right after this one at Amy Park. 20 minutes plus added time to come here in Melbourne on a beautiful evening for football. Storm Roux. McManaman with a heavy touch. Manages to keep possession. Butterfield. Now Dylan Ryan, who will play one more game for Melbourne Victory after this one, and then head off with the Olyroos, who participating in a tournament in Spain to prepare for the Olympic Games, which is coming up, of course, in July in Tokyo. Dylan Ryan playing in every minute of every game in the qualifying tournament for the Olyroos to get them to Tokyo.
Yeah, really exciting times for a lot of those Olyroos players. I've been to the Olympics, I know what it's like. It's pretty special. But again, there was just a heavy touch from Storm Roo. Just that lapse in concentration at Melbourne Victory. Again, in key areas. He found himself with enough space out here and wide, but there's just no penetration at the moment with runs in behind.
Nice switch of play by the Reds. Elsie. Goodwin. Right-hand side now, Craig Goodwin. Cooley, one of the substitutes, out on the left. Yarkison thought about the long ball to Cooley, decided against it. They penetrate down the right-hand side instead. Here's Goodwin. Nervous faces on the Adelaide United bench. They know that one's not enough. They want the comfort of a second.
They certainly do, but I don't see enough from Melbourne Victory for them to be concerned about. There's no real pressure on the ball. Just allowed to have possession in their attacking half. Goodwin
looks for Cooley, cut out by Storm Roo. Continues his run. Khalidi sees it, cuts it out for Cavallo. They're doing as they please at the moment, Adelaide.
I mean, when you talk about Melbourne Victory's home form, 3 wins is just not good enough, especially over a season. And at the moment, they're not really showing enough to want to get back into this game, to show their supporters they're really up for this one, because they're just allowing Adelaide to be able to pass the ball at will, not pushing up, pressing high.
Late challenge on Brimmer, and it'll be a free kick for Melbourne. Well, they've come into this game, the Reds, 5-game winless run away from home. It's about to change if they can continue on this trajectory. Ben Halloran, the latest to go into the book. It's his 7th yellow for the season.
And just another aimless ball into an area to no one, and now they're on the back foot again.
Space here for Cavallo. Tried to find a magic pass, just as he did for the first goal. The Cooley. The offside flag is raised for that earlier passage of play.
Saying that free kick was just lumped into an area. There was no real direction, no thought behind it. It was easily defended from Adelaide United.
Steve Keane made one change at half-time. Elvis Kamsova coming on, Jake Barnett. It's an opportunity for Falami. The foot race does win the corner kick. Just the second one for the evening for Melbourne.
Haven't seen too many set pieces for Melbourne Victory. Shows that they haven't really had too much endeavour to try to get forward and create.
Great to see those Adelaide United fans here in big numbers again. Is there a push on Rudy just then? Victory thought there was. Kamsova with the shot. Adelaide United player down in the area. Play continues. Victory keep it in play, and now Ali Reza Fagani calls an end to it. He says, let's stop the play here. We've got an injury. Craig Goodwin it is. He's down. Doesn't look too healthy at all.
It was a beautiful ball from Jake Brimmer. And Halloran just lost the ball a little bit there. Can't actually see what happened to Craig Goodwin.
Yeah, I think that was a head clash. Here it is.
Oh, Cam Sober.
Committed for the ball there, Craig Goodwin, and yeah, there's plenty of claret coming from his nose there. He scored the only goal of the evening. He's been fantastic for them. Let's hope they can stop that bleeding.
And if I was Steve Keane, I'd be thinking, okay, there's 15 minutes left. Exactly what he's doing now. Throw some of the youngsters on, see what they can do. Let them play with a little bit of freedom. There's that little nudge from Jordan Elsey on Jested that everyone thought that maybe there was a push in the back for a penalty. Just Adelaide defenders just seem to lose where the ball had bounced, but for me, I just want to see a little bit more, and this is where he can go to the bench. We know what Brooks is capable of.
So a couple of changes being prepared for Melbourne Victory whilst Craig Goodwin receives treatment for that knock to the nose. Leighton Brooks. Nishan Velupillay, who we saw make his debut in the last game for Melbourne Victory.
Yeah, he had a really bright spark, Velupillay, in that game against Sydney FC. Showed a lot of enthusiasm. But it's now about having that consistency when you get into the field. To have that impact, immediate impact. And not be afraid to go at defenders. Try to make runs in behind, create. Because at the moment, Melbourne Victory just need that bit of spark in that front third.
Leighton Brooks has provided that spark on occasion for Melbourne Victory off the bench this season. We've seen him in the latter part of this campaign. Ball played in his direction. 7th appearance for Leighton Brooks, 1 goal to his name. As the work continues on Craig Goodwin. Jakobsen's ball cut out by Storm Rue.
What number? What number?
And a substitution about to be made for Adelaide United. Javi Lopez will be the latest to come on for Josh Cavallo. So Craig Goodwin's okay to recommence. Cavallo just been told that, yeah, it's your number. He didn't quite believe it. Didn't want to come off. He's had a terrific game, Josh Cavallo.
Hey, just spray me some water.
What a player to bring on, Javi Lopez.
One of the new signings at the start of the season, Lopez.
He was excellent up until he got injured. Spent a lot of time on the sideline. He came on against a game against Perth. He just probably was the cause of one of the goals for Perth Glory, but that's just getting up to the game speed again. But he's got that experience and quality that you want to be able to bring on, especially when you're looking at defending a lead.
There's a chance now for Brooks in some space. Plays an early ball for Jested, just ahead of him. The idea was right. The execution not quite.
Unfortunately, that's what you lose when you've got a big player like Jested. You don't have that mobility or pace in behind, because for me that was the perfect weighted ball for someone that just had a bit of pace to run onto.
Here he is, Brooks, already providing that spark you spoke of, Archie. Cam Sober to Butterfield to Brooks. The ball movement all of a sudden seems to have stepped up a notch.
You can see what he just did there. He tried to play a 1-2 and immediately make a run in behind. Such such an underrated skill to 1-2. It just split up the defence so easily.
Craig Goodwin has done just that, splitting the Melbourne Victory defence. Play continues. He cuts it back calmly. A chance here. Ryan Strain. Ryan Strain had the goal at his mercy. Melbourne Victory survive. Brooks down the other end. Storm Roo. Velutile. His cross cut out by Jordan Elsey. It's end-to-end stuff now. De Cooley, foul. Ball out of play. Another substitution now for Melbourne Victory. Coming off Adama Traore and coming on, number 16, Brandon Lawton.
You see Carl Viet on the bench there. He just wants his team to be a little bit focused, because this is what happened against Perth. They didn't take their opportunities. It was a beautiful run from Ben Halloran. Craig Goodwin just cut it back, but just not enough pace really for Ryan Strain to run onto and hit it.
Standing ovation for Adama Traore. They love him here. Put in another massive shift tonight. Now it's all about the youngsters out there. Can they turn this game around? Kiddo, they wanted a foul. Adelaide United bench thought the advantage may have been paid. No, foul play continues. Coletti, his ball cut out by Dylan Ryan. Jess Stead tried to knot it down for Villepille. Goodwin. Some of the glitter from last night's celebration still on the pitch too, just to rub the salt into the wounds of the Melbourne Victory fans. Melbourne City, their arch rivals, here last night celebrating their first ever premiership in the A-League. A subtle or not so subtle reminder of the different fortunes these two clubs have had this season. Adelaide looking forward again. Dylan Ryan down after that challenge. Play called back to attend to that injury.
Ryan Strain just caught him a little bit late with that 1-2 run in behind. Look, for Adelaide United, it's about seeing out this game, staying disciplined in their structure, not getting caught forward, where they could be susceptible on the counter-attack.
Well, you talk about that midweek game against Perth. They had more possession, more completed passes, more shots, more balls into the area. It's the third time this season Adelaide conceded a late goal in the 80th minute onwards, and they lost 2-1 there. They will be well aware of the danger. And sometimes those things stick in the back of your mind. Here's Goodwin fighting hard against Butterfield. Victory win that contest. Lawton. Dylan Ryan. Now Storm Roo with time. Leighton Brooks. Nice ball to the back post. Villepille was there, couldn't get enough on it. That was better from Victory. They wanted the corner, they won't get it though.
What impact Leighton Brooks has already had on this match. Beautiful control here into his path, and look at those quick little feet. Just gives himself enough space to be able to deliver that ball. Just a little bit too much on it.
Aloisi, Carl Viet, watching intensely. They know how important the 3 points is here tonight for Adelaide United. times they've played before, these two sides. Melbourne Victory will love nothing more, Archie, than to score and equalise here and derail the Reds' finals campaign.
Yeah, we know the rivalry. If you can hamper anyway an Adelaide team, especially leading into a finals, you want to do it.
Here's Goodwin. And that time Butterfield applied the pressure and forced the turnover. Cam Sober with some acrobatics in the middle of the park. Khaledi desperate. Lawton cuts it out. Pillay. Terrific run forward by the youngster in his second appearance for Melbourne Victory in the A-League.
You can see that enthusiasm, just almost ran himself into a bit of trouble there, but that's exactly what you want from your young players that come on, just to have a bit of spark.
Storm Root as the Cooley to beat. Now Leighton Brooks. Terrific again by Brooks. Gets himself in behind. Takes a deflection. Delianov sees it over. It will be a corner kick for Victory. Look out, Adelaide. Young Leighton has arrived.
Well, look at the sharp feet. Just sizes up his defender. That touch on his left to open up that space to deliver that cross.
Three corners now for Melbourne. Brimmer, it will be to take it. Just dead the target again. An arm wrestle. Pillay does well. Brimmer. Cam Sober, back to Brimmer. This is dangerous for Adelaide. Brimmer to the near post and Jakobsen cut it out. They're knocking on the door. Cam Sober to the back post. Just wide of the mark, Dylan Ryan wasn't far away and half the stadium thought it might have trickled in.
You can see the Melbourne Victory's hands on their faces thinking that that one's gone in. And a beautiful ball back post. Dylan Ryan gambles, just can't get enough on it. But when I was talking about Jake Bimmer in that situation, just a simple little 1-2 creates that opportunity.
Victory dominating the last 10 minutes. Can they make it count on the scoreboard? The Reds hanging on here. Here they come again with Pillay. He has them up on their feet on the outer side.
Beautiful quick feet. Substitutes have really made an impact already on this game.
Here he is again, in tight areas. Playing with that freedom that we love to see. A few big fans out there too, Archie. Screaming every time he goes near the ball. Lawton that time can't win it for Melbourne. So they'll take all the time in the world here. Adelaide United and James Delianov. Melbourne-born Delianov, of course. First sign for Melbourne City. He'll be loving this in front of his family and friends. They want to keep that clean sheet. Cam Sober plays it through. A late challenge, that's a free kick. Melbourne Victory really now starting to ask some big questions of the Reds. Pillay again down the left side, getting in behind, and that's a cynical foul.
That's a challenge that needed to be made. Again, it was Lopez. Just trying to find his feet coming back from injury. It's always so difficult for a defender to come on to a game when the intensity is so high.
Delianov sorts out his defence. Brimmer, who's been involved in over 60% of Melbourne Victory's goals this season. Can he add another one to his name here? with an assist. The ball whipped in, Delianov off his line, punches it away. 5 minutes to be added here. It'll be a long 5 minutes for Reds fans. Dylan Ryan, offside flag goes up.
Bit of ill discipline for Dylan Ryan there. He could have seen across the line the defence of Adelaide United. But a great punch from Delianov just to ease a little bit of pressure off the Adelaide defence. A lot at stake for these last few minutes for Adelaide United. They don't want to concede.
A win tonight for the Reds puts them in 3rd position on the table. Sydney FC earlier today with that big derby win against Western Sydney in 2nd position.
You can see with Jakobsen's clearance there, anywhere will do. Just want to get the ball a little bit further up the pitch. Try to play out as much time as they can in their attacking half.
Two home games to come after this for the Reds, both at Hindmarsh. Western Sydney and Sydney FC they face. All of those teams right in it. They want to keep it down this end of the pitch as long as they can here. Strain. Got 2 to beat. Ryan Strain does well to win the throw-in for Adelaide.
These are really important seconds for Adelaide United to hold the ball in that corner. And those are the sort of things you don't want to be giving away. Cheap turnovers from a throw-in.
Foul throw, we don't see that often. Might see it in the under-16s, not the under-10s, but on the A-League. They concede here. I don't want to know what Carl Veer would have to say.
I think his Adelaide players will be looking for the exit doors, that's for sure.
That was a high challenge from Elsie. The fans didn't like it. He won the ball cleanly, and it's on behind the play. The original rivalry sparks to life. Craig Goodwin goes into the book. He knows all about this one. He knows how desperate his team are to keep control. Minutes remaining.
So like Jordan Elsey, counting his lucky stars, he didn't give away a high boot challenge there, free kick. And that's why the Melbourne Victory fans are up in their chairs.
Saw Marco Rojas be on the receiving end of one of those earlier this season. So a very bad injury as a result. Dylan Ryan also going into the book in that exchange earlier. He hasn't given another foul throw, has he?
It looks like he has.
Be like under-8 training Monday night. We're going to practice throw-ins again.
He must be an under-8 coach. The linesman there.
A minute left. Can Victory find something to spoil Adelaide's party? Goodwin for Adelaide. In a tight tussle. Look at the numbers around him. Butterfield wins it. Finds the pass to Leighton Brooks. Dispossessed. De Cooley. Tried to move it along and gave it away cheaply to Cooley. Brooks, early ball. Elsie clears it. It's all a bit scattergun. Handball claims and handball decision given. Free kick Adelaide. That might just be it.
Just eases a little bit of pressure off Adelaide United. I could see Carl Veer on the sideline when that ball got played out wide. He was looking at his watch. But they've done really well, Adelaide United, to stem that flow of pressure from Melbourne Victory, and they've got the 3 points.
And there it is, and that's what it means to Craig Goodwin and the Reds. 3 precious points at Amy Park. A clean sweep for Adelaide against Melbourne Victory this season for the first time since season 1 of the A-League, and it was well worth the trip for those fans. Full time here at Amy Park. Melbourne Victory 0, Adelaide United 1. Third position now on the table for Carl Viet. They return back to the winners list after that loss midweek against the Perth Glory, and he knows just how precious that win is tonight. They did it the hard way in the end, Archie Thompson. Melbourne Victory really tested them, especially in that last 10 minutes.
Yeah, it certainly did.